And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Shabbat Show. So great to be back with you again. Oh my gosh, we are flying through the year. This is it, the last day of the calendar year 2020. We get to spend it together with you, getting ready for Shabbat, welcoming a brand new calendar year. And I hope this is going to be a year that is filled with joy and happiness and only good things. We've got a great show for you tonight. Very appropriate for this period of time. We're in a very unique period of time. December 31st has a couple things going for it beyond what is obvious, which we'll get to in the show. But the theme of the show hopefully will really touch as to what is some of the inner core concepts that we should need to take with us as we close 2020 and move into 2021. Show sponsored by Yitzi and Nancy Pretter in memory of Yitzi's father, Chaim Ozer ben Harav Yitzchak HaKohen Pretter, on his 10th yahrzeit. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we had Yitzi on with his wonderful daughter telling over the story of when they had that accident in Israel, and he held on, and it was such an incredible story of both from the daughter's perspective, from Yitzi's perspective. It really touched so many people. I personally have a very close connection to this wonderful family. On the 9th yahrzeit, which was last year, me and my family had the privilege of being in Baltimore with them to celebrate and to see the community around the Pretters and just the impact that the Pretters have. And it's such an incredible opportunity for us to be connected, especially for this yahrzeit. You know, it's an amazing thing that they've been involved in so long. When Rabbi Mordechai Trapp called Yitzi to share his family's miraculous experience of being saved off the cliff in Herzliya, him and his daughter Leah enthusiastically participated, and we thank them for who they are, for being part of this show and being part of the larger Project Inspire family. This show is also dedicated, again, as a program of the Kol Enoch Goldman Center for Jewish Values. We thank Jay Goldman for his sponsorship, and thank you for all that you do, and we appreciate your participation in the show as well. Last week, if you missed it, we had a show on anti-Semitism. Thank God we got some incredible feedback throughout the week. If you missed it, it's on the ShabbatShow.com. Now, if you remember, Michael did an incredible Michael on the Street about the Jews in York. Well, that was only a piece of his larger film. You can check that out as well, the full film. Go to ShabbatShow.com, and you can check out the fully extended show. This week we got a great show coming up for you. We got Jody Burkal from Toronto, Label Schwartz. We got Orly Waba from Jerusalem. We got Kahoot. We got Jamie Geller. We're rocking and rolling. It's almost Shabbat. It's a new year. It's going to be a phenomenal show wherever you are. Stay. If you have other people you think would want to watch this show, send them to the ShabbatShow.com. Go to Kahoot.it. Get it rolling. Open up another tab if you're on your browser. If you're on your phone, download the app. It's going to get really competitive, I can tell you. My family is now fully in. As you know, my mom has been playing Kahoot for a very long time, which is why we slow down so that we get the code going. And now I found out last week that my family is incredibly competitive as well. So I think they placed 10th last week. So you gotta compete. We got the Hararis coming at you. Of course, we'd love to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. It means the world to us when individuals are tuning in and wishing us Shabbat Shalom. So please tell us where you're from. You can chat me on Zoom if you're with us on Zoom, and if you're not watching on Zoom, go to my Facebook page and just say hello. We'd love to wish you Shabbat Shalom. You think it's not just me and you, the whole world that's watching, that sees all the Jews and feels like you're part of a family. So please feel free to do that. We'd love to hear from you. So this week's show it's about me to we, and I want to share with you the background of this show, and I want to bring on our first guest because this is a special show. Now, before I introduce my guest, I want to explain to you why we're so thrilled about what the show is about. You know, Jody Burkal's and her, Jody and the Burkal family, they've been on the show before. But Jody is someone who reached out to us recently. And the reason why that's so critical is because, we started the show, if you remember, I don't know, like almost like a year ago, 9 months ago. And it's really to stay in touch with you, to be close and to be connected with the Jewish people. And as much as we'd like to be, we really would like to be in person, right? Like that would be amazing if we can get back together, but we can't. So we live behind screens with each other. And we really want to hear from you. We want you to be part of our family. We want you to be part of our Shabbat experience. And Jody reached out we want to hear from you to reach out. We want to hear from everybody to reach out. And Jody reached out and said, listen, I got this great idea for a show. She's been very involved in various things throughout the virus that has an impact on people. And she had this concept that she pitched to us, and we loved it. And we loved it not only because it's a great idea. We loved it not only because Jody is an inspirational individual. We loved it because we love the fact that it came from one of our viewers. And I want you to understand, we want to hear from you. This is not Project Inspire show. This is not Charlie Harari show. This is your show as much as it's our show. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear shows you want us to cover. We want to hear topics you want us to cover. We want to hear ideas that you have. So please follow Jody's leadership on this one. Go to info@projectinspire.com and send us what you think. Share with us your thoughts. Share with us your vision. We want to be able to make sure that the shows that we produce in the future are the things that matter most to you. Now on to our first wonderful guest. After 25 years in the children's entertainment industry, Jody has switched gears to focusing on building Jewish people. Through her own Jewish journey, Jody inspires Jews of all types and backgrounds to connect to the beauty and the depth of their heritage by learning and giving back to the community. It is an honor to welcome Jody to the show. Jody, welcome to the show.
Hi, Charlie. It's so great to see you twice in 1 week.
Twice in 1 week. That's right. Thank you so much for being on. And thank you for being on earlier this week. I had the opportunity to speak to NCSY Toronto, NCSY Canada, one of my favorite organizations. Thank you so much for taking the initiative to be here. So tell me, what made you reach out to Project Inspire to do this show?
So, Charlie, I reached out, first and foremost, because I'm a huge fan of the show, and I'm a huge fan of Project Inspire. And I felt comfortable enough to reach out because, I want everyone to know that behind all the amazing programs that are going on are people who actually care about what their viewers have to say. And so it really motivated me to reach out to you guys.
Well, thank you for that. And it means a lot to us. So we're in an interesting moment in the calendar. For many people, they gloss over this, but New Year's is on the surface a very happy time. Usually there are a lot of people that are heading into New York City to watch the ball drop. Parties are all over the world. And one would think from the surface that this is a celebratory period of time, but studies show that actually this is anything but. This is a very challenging time for people. This is a time where people are, in fact, sadder than typically throughout the year. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that this time, although on the surface seems celebratory, really is very different in real life?
Right. So it's so true that this time of year is actually one of the hardest times of year because very often we're thinking back about our year and we're thinking about ourselves, and we can get really weighed down by thinking about all of our own situations, everything that we've gone through. It can weigh very heavily on our shoulders. And it's not an easy time for any of us. And actually, one of the reasons why I reached out in the first place is because I thought about how tough of a year this has been for all of us. And no one has gotten away untouched by the pandemic in some way. Charlie, me personally, I had a family member who was hospitalized for 2 weeks. It was a nightmare. But not to minimize any of this, I thought that it was a great time of year, and it was so important to focus on what's been going right. And then the idea for the show that came was from an article I wrote for H.com called Lessons from Lockdown. And one of the lessons was called Me to We. And I wrote about how I was watching through the pandemic and I noticed some incredible changes. And it all goes into what we're speaking about, how, in the beginning, people were filled with fear and anxiety, right? There's a lot of that this time of year, but certainly all through the year. And people's reaction was on self-preservation, right? Self-focus. It was really, it's all about me. And, we all remember in the beginning, you couldn't find a roll of toilet paper, right? Yep. Forget about hand sanitizer, remember?
Or a mask.
For us, it was hand sanitizer. The shelves were empty.
Yeah.
And then Charlie, after, a few months, we dusted ourselves off and people began to turn outwards, right? And focus more on gratitude. We all remember at first, people started to recognize the frontline workers, and there was this outpouring, like a waterfall of kindness everywhere. And everywhere we looked, people were focusing on others. It was turned away from self, and it became this attitude of we're all in this together. And it was so inspiring.
Yeah. And it's so true that, and I want to definitely explore this concept that in the beginning of challenge, we tend to think inward, but then we start to realize that thinking inward is actually the wrong approach, that the only chance we really have is to think outward. Now, I know that you've got this incredible video. I want to show it and come back to you to show about these efforts that were taking place in Toronto during this period of time. So let's go to this video and then let's love for them to see it and let's come back to it.
Okay.
So Jody, these are all incredible things that have been taking place throughout Toronto and, I'm sure throughout the entire world. But give us a minute before we move on. What takes place in one's mind when they shift from me to we, and why is it so critical, especially during this period of time?
So I'd like to tell you a little story, actually, to answer that question and how this works, right? Charlie, 2 years ago now, my 10-year-old daughter made me a surprise birthday party, okay? So she planned it. It was with 10 people, just my family, but she made all the arrangements, got the food, and I was actually surprised, okay, which is amazing. So I remember when I was putting her to bed that night, she said to me, "Mom, I don't know how to explain it, but I have this feeling inside. I have like pins and needles." She said, "I have this feeling, I can't describe it. I feel so amazing and I don't know why." Charlie, I remember looking at my 10-year-old, we were lying in bed together, and I said to her, "I am so happy that at 10 years old, you have learned one of the secrets to living a meaningful life." I said to my daughter, "You have this feeling inside because you did something for someone else." And I said, right? And it was such a moment. It was like, oh, and I'm thinking at her young age, she realized this and how special it was for me to experience it as a mom. But to see a kid walk around like with a feeling, it's, when you do this, right?
Yeah. It's so special. And you're so right. It's exactly the feeling you wish for your children and the feeling you wish for each other. Jody, thank you so much. And we have a whole show coming up that is really based on your your recommendation. So I hope that you get nachas from the show. But thanks for what you do, and thanks for reminding us about just how we're supposed to live our lives.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I'm so excited. Your guests are amazing. They're kindness warriors, and I'm just so thankful. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you, Jody. Looking forward to the rest of the show, and we thank Jody for making this recommendation. It's so true. We got to talk about this. This is the solution to what's going on right now. These are the moments where the more we think of ourselves, the more lonely it is. But as we think of others, the true us comes out. This is the time. It's New Year's Eve when so many feel so alone because there's a sense of self when we really should be thinking about each other. So thinking about others, we've got Project Inspire, of course, who's constantly thinking about other people. This week, they've got some great new classes coming on. Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. on projectinspire.com, they've got the MindFlex Deep Dive. Let me give you a sense of what this is. A deep dive program, it's really awesome topics that you're in a virtual Zoom room. You speak to real people. It's interactive. You're learning. It's a great interactive way to learn something. Definitely check it out. This week's topic is The Secret to Happiness, the Rabbi Zvi Sittner and Rabbi Yoni Zakatinsky. On Wednesday at 9 p.m., there is, at the same thing on projectinspire.com, is MindFlex class with Dr. Eli Shapiro. And that title is Technology is Transforming Our Loved Ones. Are We Happier? And these are two great classes coming up, so please check it out this week. Now, of course, it is the 31st, which is the last day of 2020. Everyone's online giving their last-minute donations. And please, during the show until midnight tonight, and if you want afterwards as well, please consider Project Inspire. The show does not run on fumes. It doesn't run on its own. There's a lot goes into it, and it's only one of many things that Inspire does. So please feel free to go to projectinspire.com and donate and help us continue to do the things that we do and try to really inspire other people. So a little bit more on Jody's theme of Me to We. We've got this beautiful video I want to show you from H.com. Check it out. So nice to see some people, how they react in times of challenge, and we're all like this. And this is the moment where we can actually celebrate this. The people that have given, and for all of us that have given, whether we've given in our money or we're given in our time or given in our encouragement. Listen, when you come home and someone in your house is scared and you take a couple minutes to encourage them, that's giving. When you call your friend, when you share something with your neighbor, when you pray for someone, it's giving. It's me to we. That's the journey of life. Me to we. And the more we do it, the greater our light expands, the better we feel about it. It's an incredible part of our evolution as human beings and our spiritual growth. And my next guest knows that really well. Orly Waba is the founder of the global nonprofit Life Vest Inside. She's a kindness expert. She's an educator, a best-selling author, and entrepreneur, and a keynote speaker who inspires audiences to take action. Her talks and workshops provide the groundwork for lasting change and motivate people to become the best version of themselves so they can change and influence the world for good. Life Vest Inside gained international acclaim when Orly's award-winning film Kindness Boomerang went viral, receiving over 100 million people, landing her a spot at TED 2013, and launched what has come to be known as the Kindness Revolution. Her film set a precedent that was incorporated into the culture and marketing strategy of companies and organizations. She has hopes and dreams of infusing positive change in the political arena by focusing on ethics, character, and values. And we know each other for a while back. It is an honor. She's from Jerusalem. I had a chance to catch up with Orly earlier today. Check out this interview. So you've had such an incredible story, and you have this wonderful organization that is really dedicated to helping people, to making people bigger and greater. Give us a little bit about the organization you started and what you're doing to really make this change in the world.
100%. So the organization's called Life Vest Inside. And the concept is that kindness, like a life vest, keeps the world afloat. And so the mission of the organization is to inspire, empower, and educate people of all backgrounds to lead a life of kindness. But really, if I were to boil it all down to one word, the word actually wouldn't be the word kindness. It would really be the word empower. Empowering people to recognize their value, that they're unique and significant, that each person has something to contribute into this world that nobody else can. There are no accidental people in this world. So if you're here, you got a pulse, that means that there's something that you're meant to do that nobody else can do. And the way in which we bring that change into the world is through inspirational media like film, which is how the organization got its start with a short film I did called Kindness Boomerang that reached over 100 million people globally. Through education, we develop and implement curriculum. Through technology, we have an amazing platform called Project Hope Exchange that allows people to share 30-second audio messages of hope, anonymous messages from people that have been through adversity to others that are going through that same adversity. And we have leadership training programs and international events that we host. So our key is to help people tap into their potential, recognizing that their greatest life vest, their greatest strength is right there within themselves. You know, I would say one of the biggest issues that we're facing in today's world is, why does unkindness exist, people ask. And it's not because people aren't kind. It really stems from a lack of self-value and self-worth. People not feeling that they are enough. We're constantly looking at others and feeling like, how come I can't be that guy or the other? Forgetting to look into our own suitcase with what Hashem put into our suitcase for us, the talents, the skills, the resources to become the very, very best version of ourselves. So, and if we come to truly love us, loving others is very easy.
How did you stumble into this? Like, how did you go to becoming this person whose mission in life is to bring out the best in other people?
So I know this is going to sound crazy, but the truth is, ever since I was a little 4-year-old kid, this has been part of my dream. I remember my dad tucking me into bed and I would have my conversation with Hashem. And I felt from a young age that there was something I was meant to do in this world to bring people together. I didn't know how and I didn't know what, but what I knew very much is I knew my why. And I always say, if you know your why, the how is going to find its way to you. But when you're a little kid talking about changing the world, people think you're nuts. And when you're an adult, they think you're even more nuts.
Exactly.
Sometimes the hardest experiences we go through our lives push us to tap into something that we wouldn't have been able to tap into otherwise. So yeah, this has been part of my life journey.
So tell us, the transformation from me to we, right? As somebody goes from being self-focused to recognizing that the talents that they have are there to serve others, and they start to do that. What takes place in that person as they transition to becoming bigger?
Well, you're talking about this concept of me to we, and I like that it starts with me, because here's the thing. It has to start with me, right? We talk about the concept of v'ahavta l'recha kamocha, to love another like you love yourself. Loving others is easy. It's loving ourselves, which is hard. In order to be able to give it tremendously outwards, we have to recognize and understand that we actually matter, that the me matters, that we do matter, in fact. and seeing the values that we bring to the table. I always say, probably the biggest thing that empowers me to recognize my value is one of the first things we say in the morning when we say Moda'ani. And it says the last two words, say, Rabba Munatecha, his great faith in you. That means that if you're waking up every morning, that means that it's like God saying, come, look at what he's going to do today. Look at what she's going to do today. The fact that King of the universe is betting on me, how could I not bet on myself?
Yeah.
So there's lots of things that a person can do to focus on that concept. When you give outwardly, what it does for you, the reason why, we focus on this concept of kindness is that when you're giving, you come to see your true sense of self-worth, right? Because when you're giving, you didn't need to be the smartest guy, the fastest guy, or the wealthiest guy to make a difference. You just needed to be you. That's why when people engage in acts of kindness and act of giving, there's scientific evidence behind the fact that it makes them happier.
Yeah.
Because in that moment of giving, they're being validated for the right reasons. It's like, for example, a life vest, right? What's the difference between one that will let you drown and one that will keep you afloat? It's air. When you give with your air supply, when you blow into that life, you're giving to others. You're recognizing that we're all, in a sense, interconnected. Now that vest becomes stronger and stronger, not only to lift you up, but eventually to be able to lift others up as well. And I think that as a world, there is becoming more of a consciousness of our interconnectedness. The fact that when I do an action here, it impacts other people. We see it this year unfortunately, with Corona very much. One person has the ability to infect so many. Well, the same is true with positivity, which you could see in the short film, the Kindness Boomerang film. Yeah. One action that you do doesn't actually stay within that one person. It's an energy that gets passed from one to the next and even affects those that are witnessing it. That is the power. Together, collaboration, in a sense, is really the key to success. And we have to get ourselves into that mindset, as opposed to what society has taught us over the years, that for one person to be up, somebody else has to be down. It's not true. Because as you're rising, you can lift another, and together you're able to lift mountains.
Amazing. Amazing. Orly, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for what you do for this world. Life Vest Inside is the website?
That's correct. lifevestinside.com.
Check it out. Check out Orly's talks. Check out what she's doing. And Orly, may you continue to shine your light in this world and continue to show people just how great they can be by giving to others. It's so true when we think about giving to other people and what that does. The Orly referenced some of the studies. I remember once seeing this academic study of people that were diagnosed with a certain illness, and in order to make them feel better, they would bring things to these individuals. At first it was visitors, and then they would take them places, and all these things raised their level of happiness to a certain degree. And then they figured out, these researchers, that they really came up with a new idea. And what they did was they brought these individuals to other people diagnosed with a similar illness, and they made them be mentors, and they provided hope and support to somebody else. And then they found that their happiness levels actually went up even higher than when they were, being taken care of and pampered. It's because when you give, when you go from me to we, you change. Something takes place. Like Jody said, there's something that goes on inside you. Your soul comes out, and you just see and feel the world in a very different way. So thank you, Orly, for what you do and for bringing this out. And this is what the show's about. This is what this year is about. And I can't think of a better way to go into 2021. The calendar year is an important year for everybody. There's a concept in Judaism that God created a world through kindness. In Hebrew, it's called Olam Chesed Yibaneh, which means God created a world through kindness, but it also means that God started the world. When you start things, when you start it with kindness, it starts right. Well, this is the new secular calendar year. This is it. Tonight's the last night in 2020. Is there a better way to think about the end of 2020 and the beginning of 21 than to start the new year with kindness, being more, and expanding ourselves from year to week? Special shout out to Avigdor Novak and the Novak family from Toronto on his bar mitzvah this Shabbos. They and him watch every single week, and both parents are involved actively in Toronto. His father, Andrew, has a sushi business and always donates sushi to our Project Inspire programs. And his mom, Sarah, is a city leader with us in the women's division of Project Inspire in Toronto. Thank you so much to the Novaks and Mazel Tov. The next song is an anthem written by Tani Polanski. He was the wonderful singer-songwriter that we used to have on all the time at the end of the show. Him and Yaakov Chesed wrote this song about no matter whatever happens, it's all God. He's with us. He's taking care of us. In Hebrew, that means Ein Od Bilvado. What that means is that we live a life, and when we allow God in, we live a very different life. We exist with a certain level of calm. We become different people. Check out this incredible song from Tani Polanski and Yaakov Chesed.
Fast-breaking developments in the coronavirus emergency in the
Protests turned destructive in downtown Seattle tonight. Here's what we know.
This morning, alarming spikes of COVID-19.
Singapore has just confirmed its first case of the virus.
Developing situation out here. Talk about a tale of two things going on here.
Host summer gatherings outdoors rather than inside.
The virus is impacting air travel too.
Open eyes and see you everywhere that I turn. Yeah, with every little blessing that surrounds me, there are lessons to learn. Oh, but sometimes it seems like you may not be around. And that's when I look deep within where your endless love is found. And I say, hey, hey, no. And the trees and the cool ocean breeze, there you are. And the sunshine on my face, and the twinkle of millions of stars. Oh, but sometimes it's all so clear to see. Yeah. And these moments a voice calls out from deep within me. And I say, hey, hey, no.
thank you, Tani, for that amazing song. You know, when you live your life knowing and believing that there's something bigger than you, it gives you the opportunity to be calmer, to go through life differently, and to give a lot more, knowing that you've been given so much. So thank you, Tani, and thank you for that entire song to Yaakov and Tani for producing that. Now it's time for Kahoot. Just getting more sure everybody gets ready for Kahoot. Let's get this thing rolling. Turn it on your computers. If you go on your apps, 270-9204, 270-9204, Kahoot time. I'll give it an extra minute so that's when my mom gets on. My family's getting ready to do Kahoot as well. I hope your family is as well. My family placed 10th last week. So, and all these like stars, Silvers, Patriots, Rock, the usual ones that are out there killing it. The Mervis family, we got your back. We're coming after you. But before I do that, as people tune on, I want to wish a couple of Shabbat Shaloms. To Henya from Toronto, Shabbat Shalom. To Tammy Salmon, Shabbat Shalom from Birmingham, Alabama. Shabbat Shalom to Beth from the cold and bold coast of Maine. Shabbat Shalom to the Novak family from Toronto. Shabbat Shalom to Lisa Black Meddings and family in Toronto. Shabbat Shalom to Rivka Tyler. Shabbat Shalom to, who else do we got here? Let's see how we're doing on the people coming in. Let's give it another 10 more seconds. For those that would like to join, please do a Kahoot. Go to Kahoot IT. Shabbat Shalom to Jen in Georgia. Okay, let's get rolling over here. Let's start Kahoot. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. First question. Israel's Weizmann Institute of Science researcher Ehud Shapiro holds the Guinness World Record for the world's smallest DNA computing machine, the largest collective of microorganisms, development of the fastest microchip, the world's smallest surveillance tracker. What does he hold the patent in? On my Facebook page, Shabbat Shalom to Rachel Fleischer from Hillside. Christine Norris, Shabbat Shalom to you. Arya Mack. Rita Rubin, Shabbat Shalom in Boca. Christine from North Dallas, Texas. The answer is the world's smallest DNA computing machine. Wow, this is a wide group of answers. This is going to create a whole new leaderboard here. Browns Rock, Sarah, ZN, Toronto, Gail, RM. Okay, I'm seeing some new names. Okay, let's go to the next one. Question 2. An Israeli company has developed the world's first digital COVID detector, jellyfish repellent, plant-based heart for emergency transplant use, or sensor to translate bird language into English. Holy cow. Okay, Rana Adler from Fairlawn, Shabbat Shalom to Nancy. Hilsenrath, Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to Linda and Ed. The answer is a jellyfish repellent. Nobody got that. 5 people got that right. This is going to blow the whole board. How are we doing it? Nechama Brown's Rock stays on. Sarah Zien, Toronto, and Gail. Wow. This is incredible. Let's see what happens now. Here we go. As of 2019, which Jewish organization had been the top recipient of funds from the leading Jewish philanthropists? JNF, IDF, Bar Ilan, or Birthright? Which Jewish organization got the most money? Or in Syrian language, the most flus? Who raised the most money? 2019 from Jewish philanthropists. Shabbat Shalom to Tara Bloom, Tara and Michael, Shabbat Shalom to you. Joan Koda, Shabbat Shalom. Tanya Sampson, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Answer is Birthright. Birthright. That was close. JNF was a good guess for those who got JNF. Toronto on top, RM, Gail, Rachel S, and L. Okay, let's go to the last question. Shabbat Shalom to the Diamonds Lakewood. Who said I can't do everything, but I still can do something? I will not refuse to do something I can do. I can't do everything. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. I will not refuse to do something I can do. Helen Keller, Peter Pan, Richard Nixon, or Ed Sheeran. To the Revivo family, Shabbat Shalom. To Hindi and Leah Miller, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to Reese and Brian Wolf in Oak Park, Michigan. 7 seconds left to the final question. Marty and Deborah Cohn, Shabbat Shalom to you. Helen Keller, good guess, everybody. Helen Keller. All right, let's see who won. Let's see if it's, I don't think it's my family. Number 3, Rachel S. Congrats. Number 2, RM. And the number 1 winner for the last show of 2020 is Gail. Brand new to the leaderboard. We have not seen Gail yet. I do not believe Gail hit the top L. And Lisa, Gail, congratulations. Go to projectinspire.org to get your gift. We thank you for playing. It's now time for our favorite partner, the one, the only, Jamie Geller.
Thank you, Charlie, so much. And hello, everybody. Hi to my parents who are watching. Mwah, Mom, love to you and love to all of you. It is so good to be back. Now, this week we've got something special. I know I always say that, but this is really a good one. So about 100 years ago, there were thousands of Jews in Libya. Today, there are none. But this Libyan classic dish lives on in Israeli restaurants and is an absolute favorite. It's called mafrum. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you'll know soon. But just to give you a little taste of what you're getting yourselves into, it's like a fried meatball potato sandwich, slowly simmered, delicious homemade tomato sauce. Yum. Okay, I hope I've whet your appetite. I want to wish you a happy, almost new calendar year, and enjoy this delicious food. Alrighty, those Libyans really knew how to cook. Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, that looked incredible. Looks like a pachka, but I'm sure it's going to be incredibly good. Go to Jamie Geller for all her recipes. JamieGeller.com, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok at Jamie Geller. Thank you again for your partnerships. Great to see Jamie Geller. Our next guest is a pro photographer who also helps brands grow their business by creating content that provides a deep connection to the true essence of who they are as a company. Label Schwartz brings a new and fun experience to companies to educate and instill confidence like no other. Check out his LinkedIn page or Instagram to see what he's up to. Before we get to Label, I want to show you a video about what Label was doing right during when the virus hit for all these young couples that were getting married without real weddings. Check this out.
Everyone has this perception of what a wedding is, and Corona just changed it all. People have the option of beautiful images. People have the option to go small. They could go big. My goal is to create images that make you guys feel good. Every couple is different, but it's meant for you. And you deserve it. You know, it's been such a crazy time, and you're just as happy.
basically all you.
I guarantee you they'll never forget it for the rest of their life. And they stayed safe during COVID. They did the right thing. A huge thank you to the Beekman Hotel, Kavu Builders, gifting beautiful portrait sessions to couples who got married safely during COVID. When you have vendors who believe in your product and believe in your mission more than you do, you could never think of anything more beautiful.
So, Label, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Hey, Charlie, how are you?
Doing wonderful. So give us a little bit what this was. I mean, it looks like you took families that came out this virus and felt like they didn't have the weddings that other friends had, and you blew them up. What was that like? How did it feel? Who came up with the idea? Give us a little bit more as to what we just saw.
Absolutely, Charlie. First of all, I want to thank you so much for everything that you do. And actually, I was actually gifted your book, Unlocking Greatness.
Oh, thank you.
And was really blown away by it. And there's one piece that really stuck with me, and I think is really relevant to the conversation, and that's neuroplasticity. Now, what I learned from you is someone could live a same experience, same situation, and have two completely different experiences, right?
Yep.
So as a wedding photographer, corporate photographer, also wedding photographer, I realized that for everyone else, the world was falling apart. But for our couples, their weddings were falling apart. Mm-hmm. And as I sat in this office, right, as someone who makes my living off of complete live events, that's what we do. I sat for 3 months staying safe, trying to weather the storm, thinking, how can we help? And I realized that this thing is going to end and we're going to come out better. And when we get there, I want to be one that helped the process and helped people bring a little light into the kind of difficult experience. Sure. So I racked my brain. How could I do it? So what we decided was, you know what? Let's add some hope, add some light. So what I did was we said, any couples that got married safely during COVID, we entered a raffle. There was over 100 people that joined. And we were going to raffle off 8 slots to come and take portraits. Now, I cannot fix the world's problems, right? The world's falling apart. I can't fix that. But beautiful images, that I can do. So
I want to double click on what you just said. This is the point. I really want to, I hope people pick up what you just said. This is it. You know, the world's got stuff and we are and feel incapable of changing the world stuff. And what you just said is so important, because what you said was, I'm not trying to fix the world. I'm not volunteering to make a vaccine, right? What I'm doing is doing the things that I do. I'm taking me and I'm sticking it into the solution.
That's right. I want to be part of that side.
That's phenomenal. That's touching, because that's what God wants of us. He says, just be you. I made you you. I put you in your zone. Just be on the right side, right?
As you, and you have no idea what that could be. And it's funny, in the corporate side, what we do is we connect with companies and we bring them out. Now, people have a script they want to say. I said, no, you don't understand. You're successful. Let's just sit you down and talk, because you're bringing the world beauty, no matter where you are. Let's just bring that to the world. And it's fascinating. So anyway, so what happened? I put out this idea. 100 people gave me, signed up. And I get a call from a friend, Stephen Horowitz, one of my clients. So when Stephen calls, you pick up. So I picked up. I said, Stephen, do me a favor. My wife and I made a date night and we're making a painting together. He said, I'll call you right back. He said, give me 1 second, Label. I said, what do you need? What's up? He said, I saw the thing that you want to do, your initiative. He says, I have the Beekman Hotel. It's a beautiful luxury hotel in the city. He says, I want to be part of what you're doing.
I love it.
He says, you can take my entire location as your venue. I want a piece of what you're up to. And I want you can have anything from top to bottom. And he did. He gave us the entire hotel. Now, who got hit harder in this world than the hotel industry?
Sure.
And he still thought, let me take a venue. Let me take an asset that I have and give back. And one after the next, Kavu Builders, Beekman Hotel, everyone started to kind of build onto this process. So you just open up a little bit and the world will follow along.
That's right.
And very thankful to Hashem. That's exactly what we got to do. And when I realized how many people connected, when you talk about neuroplasticity, it's really, I learned the people you're with are the people that change the way your mind works. And these are the type of people that are doing good. Those are the people I want to change my mind to be like. That's the type of neuroplasticity. I want to change my brain functioning to hang out with the best.
So true. I was once, when I was younger, someone said to me, in life, try to be a faucet. I'm like, thanks for that. I don't know what that means. Always be open so that good things can flow through you. And that's what this is, meaning be open so that you can flow ideas out. And see what happens when you have the ability to flow out to other people is people want to be part of that. People want to join that. I love this concept of taking your talents, giving it, and then now on both sides, people are taking what they can do and bring it out. And I just hope people that are watching that are saying, listen, I don't know if I can change the whole world, but I can change my family, my friends, myself. I can just give a little bit to be on the right side of the solution. So tell me a little bit, you glossed over it. Tell me what you're doing with companies. What does it mean you're drawing it out of them? Give us a little bit more.
So one of the reasons I'm so excited to meet you, Charlie, is because everyone that speaks to me about you said that you are an incredible interviewer. Now, what I'm doing I realized I went from weddings, I got closer to my essence, which is connecting to humans, doing headshots. Then I got closer. I realized during the pandemic, a lot of my CEOs had been super powerful, sitting in meetings and talking to people and making sales that way. But then they couldn't, right? And you put them in front of a camera and they sound, one of my closest friends and CEOs, Abraham Brown, I saw a video. He says, hi, my name's Abraham Brown. I run a company called, I said, Rami, you sound ridiculous. Like you're a crazy, powerful guy. What happened to you? People don't feel comfortable. So what I realized was if I just put a light on them, and I put a mic on them, and I just forget about everything else, and I just start talking to them, they have brilliance inside.
Yeah.
And what happens is it opens up. They don't even realize what's flying. I take the content, create little pieces of micro content, little pieces to let them touch the world because they have got essence of brilliance.
Right.
And what we realized, like you were saying, Charlie, is not only the CEO so powerful, COO is powerful,
sure,
the manager's powerful. Every element of the business is beautiful. And the reason we invest in the business is because we trust them. So letting people in, everybody's got the brilliance. You just let it out.
Well, Label, this is great. And I appreciate what you do for the world. And I'm so inspired that you did that. And it makes me think like, wow, I should really try to be more on the right side. And I think everyone who's listening right now is thinking the same thing. So thanks for who you are and for shining your light in the world. Remember, go to Label's LinkedIn page. Just go to check him out on LinkedIn. I'm sure that, you're doing such good things, and I hope more people are able to utilize your greatness.
Such a pleasure. Thank you, Charlie. And a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to you. And that was Label Schwartz. I'm so moved by people like this. I got to tell you, I'm so moved by this interview. I mean, by all the interviews. All the interviews were amazing. And each one brought out a different piece. But for me, this second right now, when he said, I'm a photographer and I wanted to give, I don't know, something happened. And he's thinking like, wow, he's a photographer. He's giving himself. He doesn't know how it's going to change the world. He just wants to be on the right side of the solution. That's what it's all about. Being on the right side of the solution. Check out this great story from H.com and Rabbi Yaakov Cohen on Corona, a time for kindness. Check this out.
We are living in uncertain times as the coronavirus continues to spread throughout the world. When so much is out of our control, it's important to focus on what we can control, namely, how we treat each other. Gideon Isaacs, an elderly man I recently met from Israel, told me the following true story that illustrates the power of compassion towards others. Gavriel Druck's mother, Penina, was a young widow in her early 40s. She was barely able to feed her family and was feeling overwhelmed. Then, to top it off, their water heater broke and she had no idea what to do. Gavriel watched his mother cry as the water gushed out. Mrs. Druck called Gideon Isaacs, their handyman, who rushed over and got to work. When he finished, Mrs. Druck asked Gideon how much she owed. He saw that she had been crying, and as he looked at Gavriel's anxious face, his heart broke. Gideon said, "You'll be happy to know that the municipality has recently sent thousands of vouchers to be used in replacing outdated water heaters, and yours is one of the models on the list. You don't have to pay me anything." Gavriel broke out with a wide grin. He knew how much help his mother needed and was thrilled that Gideon brought some relief to the family. 25 years later, Gideon is now in his 80s, and due to his asthma, his doctor encouraged him to get a new air conditioner. Gideon was on a tight budget, so we ordered the least expensive one available. 2 days later, the air conditioner arrived, but it was the most expensive model available. Gideon told the installer that there was a mistake and that he should call the office to let them know. The voice on the said that the unit was already paid for. 10 minutes later, there was a knock at Gideon's door. It was a man from the appliance store. This unit belongs to you. And don't worry about payment. The municipality paid for it. Gideon looked puzzled, and the man explained. You probably don't remember me, but my name is Gavriel. 25 years ago, when my family was in shambles and our water heater broke, you fixed it for us and told us that it was paid for by the municipality. That was the turning point of our lives. For the past 25 years, I've thought about repaying you, but had no idea if I would ever see you again. Then, when the order for the air conditioner came in, and I saw your name, I knew it had to be you. I was elated that I could finally pay you back for what you had done for our family. During these difficult times, let's learn from Gideon and search for opportunities to help others in need and care for those around us. May the merit of our acts of kindness bring healing and blessing to the world.
Oh man, I love that story. Oh my gosh. This whole show's giving me chills. Is it giving you chills? Is it giving you chills? Man. I got to tell you, this has been a heck of a year for everybody. 2020. If we learned one thing from 2020 is that you can't predict anything. If there's one lesson we can walk out with 2020, I think the top of the banner would be, you don't know the future. Who in the world would have thought that last January would be here today? And guess what? We do not know what the end of 2021 is going to be. But we do know one thing. We know how we're going to act. We know what we can give. And we know how we can start the year. We don't know how the year is going to end, but we know how the year is going to begin. And as you and I make our calendar New Year's resolutions, which we should, because any chance to start anew is worth it. Doesn't have to be just Rosh Hashanah. Weeks, months, days, calendar years are times in which we can pause, breathe, and start from scratch. Let's take a page out of God's playbook. He built the world on kindness. Let's build our year on kindness. You know, every day I do a show called the Daily Boost. And what we're talking on the show right now is a story of where a teacher of mine, when I was in high school, said something nice to me and changed my life. And I had the opportunity later on to say thank you. And on the show, I told everybody, why don't we do something great for the new year? Why don't we find somebody that did something nice to us growing up or any time and just reach out to them. Say thank you. Make someone feel good. Let's start the year this way. It's the challenge that I want to give you right now. The last thing to do before the end of 2020 comes. Let's end 2020 right. Right now, between now and 12 o'clock, do something kind for someone else. Anything. Leave someone a WhatsApp note saying thank you. Send someone an email. Say something nice if they're living in your home. Give a little charity. Just do something small and kind. Can you imagine if everyone on this show, can you imagine if everybody, including you, can you imagine if everyone on the show took a minute before the end of this year and did a little bit of kindness? Do you know what that's going to send a message to God? We're going to show our Father in heaven that what we took from this year wasn't all the negative. What we took this year was the positive, the desire to be bigger. We're going to build 2021 on the foundation of kindness. We're going to go from me to we. Because that's what Shabbat is really all about. It's about the journey from being me to we. You know, when you come into Shabbat, you light a candle. If you go to someone's home, you'll see lots of little candles if they have a big family, because every one person gets a candle. But if you go at the end of Shabbat, you have what's called a Havdalah candle. And the Havdalah candle is really all the wicks brought together. Because when you come into Shabbat, you're running from the whole week. You're thinking of yourself. And so when you think of yourself, you're only as big as your one wick. But when you go through Shabbat and you start to realize the world is bigger and that we're connected and interconnected, like Orly said earlier in the show, you realize that my happiness and your happiness is intertwined. And your wick and my wick and our wick, we all get to be part of one big bonfire, and you leave Shabbat with a much bigger flame. Me to we. That's our goal. That's what Shabbat's all about. What a better way on the last night and the beginning of the next Shabbat to commit ourselves to being more me to we. Do something kind. Let's shake up the world a little bit. Let's light up the world just a little bit more tonight. And so on behalf of me and mine to you and yours, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. May this be a Shabbat filled of newness and kindness and generosity and empathy. And we look around to the people that we have in our lives and appreciate them. And may we commit ourselves to being more we focused. And if we do, I think we'll find that God will flow more of his benevolence through us. We'll only win. You only win when you give. Thank you for being a part of the show in 2020. Thank you to Project Inspire for doing the show in 2020. And may we have an even stronger and greater 2021. Have an incredible weekend. Good Shabbos and Shabbat Shalom. I hope and pray to see you next week in Jerusalem. But if not, with God's help, we hope to see you right back here for another episode of the Shabbat Show. Shabbat Shalom.
We together call it I do, but every generation they take one raising the haters, then the shim hit the pavement blazing the savers, then the world asks where they went. Patience are faithless, the Torah gave the whole world a facelift. If hatred is baseless, we take it, erase it, and exchange it for that master goal. We don't forget wherever we may go, there is only one place we know, and it's called Zero. We won.
Pieces and you're just falling down, I pick you up, and if you feel